Hello and welcome to the jungle garden in Denmark. This is a mid-winter video just to show how things look, and as you can see it looks fairly good, even though we've had some cold nights. We had one with -10 and this night we had -3, and that was really funny because the weather forecast said 0 degrees centigrade. So that was nice to get up to this morning. I was running around like mad 6 o'clock this morning, putting fleece bags over things, knowing that it might be too late. Very annoying that the weather forecast is so unreliable. But it looks as if most of the things are okay. We have found out that it is a lot easier to put a fleece bag over the plants if there's a can on top of those poles, iron poles you can see, because otherwise the poles will poke a hole in the fleece bags. And that gives my husband a very good excuse to drink some beer. Today the weather is rather nice. But in the video I'll show some clips from when it was really cold and when we had to turn on our heat cables. We have chosen to protect everything this year because we lost so much last year. And I'm glad we did, because the night between the 24th and the 25th we had -10 degrees centigrade, and currently we have -8. Fortunately we have the heat cables and they are all on at the moment, so hopefully that'll be enough to just give the plants that extra bit of warmth they need. But not much heat is escaping from the heat cables because the snow hasn't melted or anything. As you can see, the pond has frozen over. We have our polar bear, as we call it, on, and it keeps a hole in the ice open so that the fish can survive. When you talk about plants and hardiness, mostly it's only the temperature that is mentioned, but I think it is so much more. This is a typical Danish winter day. We've got between 0 and 2 degrees centigrade, and then we've got this drizzle hanging over everything. And I think that has just as much impact as the temperature. Or if the plants can survive like -10 degrees centigrade during the night, but then I think they need to warm up during the day. And very often if we have night temperatures like that, then we've got day temperatures between 0 and 3 and 4 degrees, which isn't really enough. And I think that has to be taken into consideration as well. And that is probably why we lost all our palms except for one last year of the most hardy kinds. Rhapidophyllum hystrix is supposed to be hardy down to -20. We had 4, we lost 3. And the Trachycarpus, fortunei and wagnerianus, well, we lost all of them except for one waggy, even though we only had one night with -14. We have tried a lot of different palms in the garden, but many of them died, even though we back then had mild winters with temperatures of -3 or -4 degrees centigrade. Also, though they, according to the supplier, could take a lot lower temperatures, and because of that they were not winter protected and might have survived if we had done that. But that is why I say that hardiness is not only about the temperature. The palms we have in the garden now are Trachycarpus fortunei and Trachycarpus wagnerianus. They are supposed to be hardy down to -13. They have survived -3 and -4 degrees centigrade without protection, but they all died after minus 14 degrees centigrade and 2 weeks of degrees below zero last year. It was about -4 and -6 in the daytime. This year they're being protected when the temperature drops below -4, and so far they have survived -10. Then we have Rhapidophyllum hystrix, which is supposed to survive -20 degrees centigrade. That has survived -3, -4 without protection. 3 out of 4 palms died last year, and this year the last one we have is being protected. Butia odorata is supposed to be hardy down to -7. It has survived -3 and -4 with protection, but they all died last year. And they're going to be extra protected this year. Brahea edulis, hardy down to -8 according to the supplier, died even at temperatures at -3, -4, and even though they were protected with a roof to avoid water coming into the middle of the palm. Then we have Nannorrhops ritchiana, hardy to -13 degrees centigrade according to the supplier. They all died at -3, -4, even though they were protected with a fleece bag. Serenoa repens, hardy to -8 according to the supplier, died at -3, -4 degrees centigrade, even though they were protected with a fleece bag. Chamadorea radicalis, hardy to -8 according to the supplier, died at -3, -4, even though they were protected with a fleece bag. Chamadorea microspadix, hardy to -8 degrees centigrade according to the supplier, died at -3, -4 degrees, even though they were protected with a fleece bag. And a lot of these palms, we can't be bothered to have them anymore. The ones we've got in the garden now are Trachycarpus fortunei and Trachycarpus wagnerianus. And we've got that one Rhapidophyllum hystrix that survived left, and then we've got Butia odorata. As you might remember, the Yucca gloriosa was just about to flower, but it was just before the frost set in, so unfortunately those flowers are just burned off. What a shame. And this is the tent where I keep all the small colocaceas, and they are doing very well, as you can see. I also keep the small tetrapanax that I took in autumn, and they're also doing quite good. And then I've got some cuttings from some other bushes. So this turned out to be quite a good idea. The ice on the pond has gone, but we're only halfway through the winter, so we can still have some really cold weather in February and in March. And this was all for this time. Thanks for watching.